All right, so time check is 7 minutes past 2 p.m. and this is Radio Gold 90.5 FM. My name is Anyona Manye Ajete and you tune into The Ghanaian Farmer on Radio Gold, a place where we discuss matters regarding the agriculture, agribusiness value chain, purposely celebrate our success stories. And so today is another amazing day. Today is the 19th day in the month of January in the year 2025. I'm sure it's pretty much long, and we are waiting to take our salary because Sikano December near the area. Says here, I'm saying standby generator. I don't know operate also. It is the leftover that we are trying to, maneuver our way out to get our salary. But don't worry, 31st is around the corner. I'm sure around 25th, 26th, you start getting the alert in the bank. So we are all looking forward to that. But hey, you're most welcome. If you just got back from church, then you are the right place. If you have not tuned in yet, tell your brother, your sister, your friend, your fathers, tell them to tune in. Agriculture is the way to go. It is the norm. It is the order of the day. Yes, if you're looking for money, and if you want a sector that is very, very challenging, that brings out the creativity in you, that brings out everything that you need to make to achieve success, then you want to go into the agriculture sector. So this Sunday or today, we are discussing how to select the perfect farmland for your crop. And to help me do this conversation or this discussion, we have in my studios Mr. Stephen Wonder Ziga. He's a Dex officer in charge of extension from Suhu. Ane, my name is Mr. Ziga, and yebe din komo. Yebe bie nyume bi ene so atremo. Enche bear match muho insione starte ba. Everybody will be getting ready. Na nyomu do Nyomo plow, harrow, nesa ye bibia, those who are running to buy seed, fertilizer, no bia, no yen yobeye. Nemum, farming, one of the key elements here you need to pay attention to is the land. Ane, where do you get your land? If you should buy your land from the Volta region, what can you grow in the Volta region? If you should get your land from the central region, what can you grow in the central region? If you go to the northern belts, wale, tamale, whatever, what can you grow? And what are some of the technicalities in terms of understanding the significance of where you got your location? What do you need to know about that? So, Mr. Ziga, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, madam.
How are you doing?
I'm very fine by the grace of God. Yourself?
I'm fine. Please come closer to the microphone for me and open your volume small because this place, if you don't open the volume, we'll not hear you. Okay. Right. So, tell me briefly about who you are and which district you are coming from.
Okay. My name is Stephen Wonder Ziga. I'm coming from Suhum Municipal Assembly. I'm the Dex officer for extension, and I see to the extension activities within the municipality. Basically, that's what I do.
Extension, where then?
We provide technical services in terms of providing extension services to farmers, educating the farmers on the type of crop to grow and how they'll be able to do their farming activities very well in order to gain something out of the farming that they do. So, in a nutshell, we provide technical services or extension services to the farmers regarding their farming activities.
Okay, so today the topic we are going to be discussing is centered on getting or buying farmland for your agriculture purposes. First of all, regions, there were 16 regions in Ghana, and yes, sir. Let's highlight on some of the general practices or general things, as I say, a first-time farmer who is going into farming and he's all over the place thinking of where do I get my land? Where should I not get my land? Can you give us a general background as to the agricultural activities in the region so far?
Okay, thank you very much. For instance, let's say in the eastern region where I am, the land is a bit hilly and rocky. We don't have, the land seems to be very hilly and rocky And sometimes when you are cultivating your crop, you need to know the type of land that you have to buy from that area to be able to do your farming cultivation. For instance, sometimes in that area, mango production is not on a rise in that area because I was told that the tap roots of the mango, when it gets deep into the soil, it is becoming very difficult for it to absorb water from the soil. So it doesn't bear much fruits. So the people that do not go into mango production very well. So we don't have much mango plantation in that vicinity because of some of these reasons. But the major thing that they are into has to do with maize, cocoa. Because that area, when you produce cocoa maize, you'll be able to have a higher yield in that particular place. I'm talking about Eastern region per se. You'll be able to have much yield when you do mango, tomatoes, or vegetable in general, because that area is very good for that production.
Okay. All right. I was reading something, understanding the significance, and it's about looking for land. It says selecting the right farmland is like choosing the right location for business. It can mean the difference between the success and failure. Rich and fertile land is the bedrock of agriculture productivity. It says farming is as much as a science as it is an art. Understanding the land characteristics, the type of soil, the availability of water, the weather pattern, and more is crucial to the foundation of the farm or of the productivity of the farm. Factors to consider when choosing farmland.
Yeah, so when you want to talk about the factors that you have to consider when you want to choose farmland, there are many. There are many. Number one, you have to look at the location of the farm. For instance, in an urban area, you can't buy land there to do poultry farming because it is highly populated. So doing poultry farming there is not advisable. What is the reason? The reason being that there are some diseases in poultry that are zoonotic. That is, it is transferable from non-animal to human being. So when you engage into poultry production in that locality and such disease set in, it will be a disaster to the people in that community. So you have to get a land at a place in a community or a developing place or in a village that is a bit far away from the town, so that if such things happen, it will not be a disaster to the people in that very vicinity that you are doing your production. Beside that, when you want to go into crop farming, you need to do soil testing or soil chemical analysis in order to find out the type of soil or the nature of the soil you want to crop on. There are some soil that are acidic and there are some that are alkaline. So doing the soil chemical analysis will let you know that the soil is either alkaline or it is acidic. For instance, when you take the pH scale, in doing the analysis, when you take the pH scale, you realize that from 0 to 6.9 is acidic. When you are doing the soil analysis, from that readings show it is acidic. And when it is above 7 going, it means it's alkaline. But when it is 7 exactly, it means that the soil is neutral. So the alkaline soil have some specific crop that you can crop on, whilst the acidic soil also have specific crop that you can crop on. For instance, when you take the acidic soil, you can cultivate crops like sweet potatoes. You can also cultivate crop like cabbage, crop like carrots, and then crop like onion. Those are very good for acidic soil. When you take that of alkaline soil, crop like alkaline soil, crop like yes, cabbage is also good there, but cabbage does more well in acidic soil more than what an alkaline soil. Now, with neutral soil, which means that the reading of the pH is what 7. So neutral soil can take both crop that can be grown in an acidic soil and then an alkaline soil. So it means that you need to do soil chemical analysis in order to find out that, oh, this soil is an alkaline soil or this soil is what? Acidic soil. Without knowing, you can grow any crop, which maybe that soil is not the right soil for you to grow on, which will not help you, the farmer. Beans can also be grown in an alkaline soil as well as that of cowpea. You get it? So you have to know the type of soil you are dealing with. That will make you have an informed decision in selecting the crop you want to grow. Besides that, the farmer too must also find out whether the land he or she is buying, there is adequate source of water in that environment. Mind you, farming activity involves the use of water a lot. So when you buy a farmland at a place where there's no water, it means that you have to transport water from wherever you are to the farm. And in farming, you'll be doing a lot of spraying on the farm. So if you don't have water, you find it difficult. So the one buying the land must make sure that all these things are in place before you buy the land. You can't buy a land at anywhere. You need to consult to find out that, oh, this area that I want to go and farm, there's water there. Then you can go in and buy the land because water is very, very paramount in farming activities.
Okay. So I also want to find out about drainage and topography
Okay.
in selecting a farmland
Okay.
for agriculture purposes.
Okay.
How important should this be for persons who are going to buy or lease a land for farming as well?
Okay. With the topography, the topography has to do with the nature or the physical features of the land. That will help you to know how to use the land. And if you are going to farm on that land, the slope will determine whether you should plant along or across the slope or along it. So if the topography is not well structured, you cannot crop any crop there because when rain falls, maybe when you plant at the long side of the land and there's a heavy rainfall, it will push all the crop away, which will not be very good for you. And then the drainage too, you need to cultivate on the land that is like a clay soil. Clay soil has a very good drainage, and that of the loamy soil as well. A soil like sandy soil does not have good water holding capacity. So when rain fall, it will not keep long. It will be drained. So that type of soil is not very good enough for one to farm. You can only use it for vegetables, specifically cabbage, okra, and then watermelon. But clay soil has a very good water holding capacity, and that of loamy soil as well.
Now we'll move on to talk about, I think you've mentioned water already. We'll talk about the climate condition.
Okay.
What are the climate conditions in the 16 region we have? Is it do we have the same climate conditions, or there are places that are pretty much cold? The water or the rain patterns are okay, and there are places that there are dry spell areas that if you get your land there are certain things you need to do. Let's talk about the climate conditions in the region.
Okay, well, the climate basically has to do with the rainfall patterns and the temperature level. Now, places where the temperatures are very high, it means that you cannot grow certain type of crops there. And then places where it seems to be semi, like cold or temperature being high, there are certain type of crop that you have to grow. Now, temperature is very important when you want to go into cultivation, into any type of farming. In the north, you realize that the temperature is very high. So somewhere like the upper east or the upper west, cassava production there is very low because of the temperature level. Now when you come to the eastern here, the temperature here is very good. So it's very good for production all kinds of vegetables and maybe tree crops. As we all know, sunlight or sunshine helps in what? Plant in manufacturing their own food by means of photosynthesis. So if the temperature is not good enough for the plant cannot do well. So areas where the temperatures are very good, any type of crop that you grow there, you'll be able to have the yield in abundance. So when you are farming or you want to go into farming, you have to make sure that you consider the temperature level, or you find out from the experienced farmers in that locality to find out where you are going to plant your crop, whether the temperature there is very good for the kind of crop you want to grow, or you contact the extension officer and you'll be educated on the temperature level, and then you will be able to grow the kind of crop you want to grow. So you can't grow any crop and anywhere because of differences in temperature. We don't have same temperature in all the central region of Ghana. There are some places that the temperatures are very high, as I indicated in the northern region, and then in the south we have the temperature being a little bit semi or somehow cold when we are during the harmattan season. So there are crops that you can grow here that can do well. For instance, I already indicated vegetables are very good when you do it here, especially in the eastern region. The temperature is very good for vegetable cultivation.
Okay. So everybody goes for farmland buying or leasing so they can maximize the potential of the land. However, to be able to maximize the potential of the land, you need to understand or match your crop to the soil type. Eba na Agric, soil type no dodo sen yewo. Now, please try and give us examples. This soil match with this crop. This soil match with this crop. Sene be ya obi okwakoja hase no. Obetumi akai no aye matching no. What types of soil do we have, and what can you grow in such soil?
We have sandy soil,
Okay.
clay soil, and then the loamy soil. Now, the sandy soil, its water holding capacity is very poor. So the crop that you can grow on that soil is watermelon. You can also grow cabbage on that soil. You can also grow beans on that soil. You get it? Because its water holding capacity is very poor. Now, when you talk about a crop like the clay soil is also good for carrots, it's also good for cucumber, and it's also good for sweet potatoes. Then the loamy soil. The loamy soil, because it has a very high water holding capacity, it is advisable for you to plant sugarcane.
Okay.
It's good for sugarcane.
Okay.
It's good for cotton, and also good for vegetables. Because its water holding capacity is very high. So when you cultivate such crops on the various type of land that I mentioned, you'll definitely
maximize the potential
definitely
of the land. Okay, thank you very much. Now let's look at some of the sustainable practices that after the farmer has been able to take the land and has gone through the soil testing, either there is water or the person drilled the borehole. Or first time your money in what are some of the sustainable practices what advice say a farmer should adhere to? I no subeboa ma ndobaye no aye kese.
Okay. Before I go on to that,
yes,
let me mention in buying your land, one of the serious things that we have to consider is also has to do with pest and disease.
Okay.
Now, you have to find out from the very locality that you are going to buy your land the common pests and diseases in that environment. Maybe the very land we are going to buy, someone has cultivated on it before, and there's a lot of diseases on that land. especially tomatoes production, there are a lot of diseases or pests that affect these vegetables. So you need to find out whether that land has been used for any other cultivations before. So by that background, you have an idea that this is what has been done there before. So when you are going to farming and maybe your crop have been infested with any diseases, you'll be able to control it.
Okay.
Because you have the idea.
Yes.
That is another aspect. And one other thing has to do with security. Security in relation to political activities. Maybe you are a political figure, you have gone to buy a land at a place that a lot of people know that you are into politics, belonging to a certain party. So political stability, you need to look at that aspect also. Because not too long ago, I've heard that someone bought a land at somewhere and it's a well-known political person, and he cultivated maize, and after harvesting, because people know the party he or she is belonging to, after harvesting, they went and set the whole maize ablaze.
Oh.
So the very environment you are buying your land, you have to make sure that the place is secure. There's peace and order in that area, so that you can also have peace of mind in going about your farming, irrespective of your political inclinations. Now, regarding the question you asked, for instance, if you've gone to buy a land and you want to go into vegetable production,
Yes.
specifically speaking, tomatoes,
Okay.
you've done your nursery and then you've transplanted. You know, tomatoes have a lot of problem regarding pests and diseases. So you have to make sure that for you to, farming nowadays is a business.
Right.
So when you are doing farming, you have to have the idea or that mind that you are doing it as a business in order to get something out of it. Now, you don't only farm for feeding yourself and your family. So if you want to go into farming, you have to do it properly by doing proper consultation and doing the right thing. So some of the agronomic practices that you have to put in place is that after you have gone to do transplanting, you have to fertilize the tomatoes.
Yes.
Because it's not like the olden days that you just put the tomatoes there and everything will be ready for you without even going there. You have to make sure that you fertilize it so that when it is growing, it will grow well with the needed nutrients that the tomatoes need to do well. Besides that, you have to make sure that the farm is properly clean, as in weeding. When the farm becomes weedy, pests begins to breed and it will affect the crop. So the hygiene aspect, that must also be properly done, as in weeding your farm properly. Now, diseases like aphids, fall armyworm, and other diseases affect tomatoes. So you have to find a way of controlling it. Either you control it biologically, chemically, culturally, so that you will not have your crop totally destroyed. So if I say chemically, it means that when your crop or your tomatoes is having challenges regarding how do you call it, pests or disease, you have to contact your Agric Officer at wherever you are so that you prescribe the right chemical that you can use to control your vegetables. If not so, you find it challenging to be able to control whatever cultivation you are into, and your farm will be totally destroyed. So, and then when there's the need for you to put irrigation facility there, if you have money, irrigation facility, you can do it yourself. Because now, Ghana here, the kind of agriculture that we are doing is a rain-fed type of agriculture. So you can also try to buy pipes yourself, buy water pump to be able to supply some water to your crop by means of irrigating it, so that all the time your tomatoes can look very fresh. Whenever it is ready, you can go and harvest it and send it to the market, and then you have whatever money that needs to be given to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we were looking at the factors, I think one particular factor that I would like to mention here has to do with accessibility. The farm too must be accessible.
Okay.
That when your crop is ready and it is not accessible as you trying to go to the farm, whether if you are having car, it means that you have to go and hire someone to help you to take your commodities by the roadside, which comes with a cost. But when the farm is accessible, you can go there with a car. After harvesting, you take it to the market, the nearest market. So there must also be a market available at where you are farming. And maybe if you want to send it outside where your farm is, that one, it is your own issue, or you have decided to do that. So there must be market availability at the very environment or very community you are doing your farming. So these are some of the practices that you need to adhere to.
Okay. Let's talk about the last point. Na yako enim. For new farmers or people who are already in the farming business, what are some of the basic, simple technology we can leverage on to make sure, say, after taking your land, you can still be able to work effectively and also efficiently? What are some of the basic technology farmers we can use to do our work?
Oh, okay. You see, now we are in technological era.
Yes.
So when you have a land and you want to farm on, you need a smartphone.
Okay.
Because sometimes you may be very busy in the fact that you can't even leave your farm. So when you have a smartphone and you see pests or any disease,
Yes.
you can take a picture, and then because of where you are, I believe you may be working with extension officer, and you send it to him online, and he will look at it and advise you accordingly. So when you have smartphone, it will help you. Even if you don't have a smartphone and you have what we call YAM, you can call the farmer, your AEA, when you have a challenge at your farm, and explain things to him, and you will be able to advise you well. Sometimes when you are on YouTube, on TikTok, or all those platforms, maybe after harvesting your crop, you can put it there. Someone will see it and then will
want
to
buy
from you.
Okay.
So these are avenues that farmers can make money from.
Right.
So there's the need for us to take advantage of this era that we are in at the moment.
Okay. All right. So Mr. Stephen Wonder Ziga, Dex Officer in charge of extension, was suhum NNA. Oni yen edi nkomo. Ekwan a obefa so a obenya asase pa. Ediaye ekwiedwuma 2025. So our question for the day was, what was the factors, or what factors do you consider most important when selecting farmland for your crop? We posted this on our Facebook. And then Agbagbo, alo alenye nyuko adiko Agbagbo is a location, type of crop you are looking at, whether it's suitable for the type of crops you intend to grow, considering water source, road, networks, and more. Okay, thank you very much. Abbas says the type of crops cultivated on the said land and how long the land has been in use. You have to ask before you buy such land. And then we have Augustine. He says available of water source. In case of droughts, it's a key factor to consider for sustainable farming. And that is from Augustine. We have Eche. Eche also said topography of the land, so as to know the exact crop suitable for planting. So when we ask the question, these are some of the comments that people had shared on Facebook. When you go to the Ghanaian Farmer on Twitter, we ask the same question. Big M, He says land closer to water source, compliance with local agricultural regulations, condition maintenance of road, temperature, rainfall, sunlight patterns, compatibility with adjacent land uses, conducting soil testing, like you said, to determine nutrient levels and pH. That's from Big M on Twitter. Farm with Queen, she said topography of the land, soil moisture, soil nutrients, and wind conditions. David also said size of the land, climate, agri-tech direct. He said soil quality, water quality. So I think some of the things you said are what our followers on social media are also saying.
Yeah, so someone mentioned drought.
Yes.
I want to comment on that a little.
Okay.
You see, last year, the rain didn't start early.
Exactly.
So most farmers planted late. Now, what is currently happening in the field now is that a lot of maize is not doing well. Or let me say, has been destroyed. Because at the point that they have to do well, or they started tasseling, that is where they didn't get rain. So it means that at that tasseling stage, the maize didn't do well. So there are a lot of maize on the field now that is totally destroyed. So sometimes I ask myself, from this time around going, how are we going to feed ourselves? We are looking at what we are seeing now in the field. It's not a nice thing. I don't know whether they will start importing maize or not.
Dabi.
I said I don't know. I don't know. So let us pray that maybe the little that will come from it, from the north to us,
it will be enough.
We'll be able to feed the country.
Okay.
That is my prayer.
Okay.
So because of this, farmers always like to cultivate how do you call it? Local variety, which we as extension officers, we don't support. We always advise them to plant improved variety, because such varieties are able to stand drought. To stand drought. So when you plant such seeds, even at the time that the rain is not coming, it will be able to do well.
Okay.
So there is a need for farmers to go into the improved variety. I'm talking about the seed.
Okay.
That will help them a lot.
Okay.
So those who planted the local variety, most of them will not get anything, because
Why?
it's not able to stand the drought.
Okay.
That is the weakness of the local variety.
Okay.
So we always advise farmers to plant improved variety.
Right.
Because that one is able to stand the weather. So that is what is advisable for the farmers to do.
Okay. Lastly, those who buy land because my friend is Wanda. Wanda is in Suhum. Wanda has his land over there. So me too, I want to buy land there. But I might not plant what Wanda is planting. What are the consequences of people who buy farmland because of this flimsy excuse of, oh, madam for what is that a right thing to do when you are looking for a farmland?
Okay, I earlier said, when I buy a land, let's say Suhum, I want to buy a land, we have to look at what crop can do well in that vicinity. Okay, if it is vegetable, fine. Then, even though you want to go into vegetable production, you need to adhere to all the things that I have mentioned. You need to test the soil.
Okay.
Because soil is heterogeneous.
Okay.
Meaning that the nutrient that is at one part of the soil is not the same at the other side. So initially you may be doing well and something can set in. Because you've not gone through the testing and all those things, you may not know how the nature of the soil is. So even though the other person bought the land there and is doing well, you must follow the necessary procedure and see if that land that you've bought or you want to go and buy can be of help to you.
Okay, Wonder, our time is up. What will be your final advice to people who will be going to farming in the year 2025, especially those who are already going around looking for farmland to buy? What will be your final advice, please?
Okay, my advice to farmers is that, as I indicated earlier, farming is now a business. So if you want to enter into farming, you need to have that idea that we are going to farm in order to get something out of it. It's not something that we are just going to do, but we are doing it as a business. So you need to consult properly in order to do the right thing. And then wherever that you want to buy your land, there's an Agric Office there. We have Agric Office in all the districts in Ghana. You can go there and do proper consultation and you'll be advised. And then using improved variety is what we must do, so that the drought that we are facing at the moment, or latter part of last year, assuming the farmers that I mentioned that cultivated the local variety, if they were to plant the improved variety, they would have gotten something now. So they need to buy improved variety to cultivate, and by that they will be able to get something out of their farming. And then proper consultation, because farming nowadays is a business. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is Mr. Stephen Wonder Ziga. Yes, Mr. Stephen Wonder Ziga. He is the Dex officer in charge of extension on the Agriculturalist ne edwuma wa Ghana ha. Uko suhum na ohwehwe na. Me sure say ne Agric director and efo Kofi Obeka Chero na wa chero baby a ne office tie na wa kwa ko hu no. No, you can go ahead.
Okay, I want to use this opportunity to thank my director, the person of Mr. Kofi Jisa, and yourself for giving me the opportunity to educate the farmers on the topic you have chosen.
Right.
I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. We are also grateful that you've had the time to come and enlighten us. From now all the way to March, dear. Yabakoswa aya education is na be aye bebu ekuafo and say wo kai say me ka kire mo say agrotourism and ene say wo pese wo nya ekuadwuma wo tie o radio su wahwe Organian Farmer YouTube channel say wo ndi yachi na ye ni wo nchi ekuafo bebre akesefo omo Ghana ha omo ye ekuadwuma ye ni wo nchi omo so hye omo na ni omo di nkomo bi so omo questions na omo nchira okwa omo fa so omo ya ayeye me no ka say 28th of February ye ko Cape Coast Cape ane ye ko Cape Coast na farm aye ko no ye from farm fresh food omo no mo 150,000 poultry farm one akoko order air condition moda wo de etena ho bra na ye de wo nko sa akoko no ji omo ani no omo da air condition mo yanko wa wani ji ho opese wonya poultry no bra me yanko na Mr. Redu ene ne team omo nchire wade ane wo transportation t-shirt a wo be hye yama water bottle yama diary se na be anwuma ye be chereche onyina no wo be tro afei ye aduane e de akọ minim se aduane se gospel workers obedi mechi nso onko obetena studio ha sa ada no ye gi ani na ye ne de nkomo wo studio ana nti so wo pesa wo ne ye nko a kakra bi pe na wo betua me sorry fi hey me number na me bo no eye agrotourism enti na me bo me number na afei ye sponsors farmers seed dealers fertilizer dealers mombe sponsor yen na yentumi to show ni so ne enya education from me was 0554 830431 ko YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, The Ghanaian Farmer. Enyoma bebre egu ho a obetumi ehia. Yeda Mr. Wonder say ne oba ye ho a ye ni di nkomo. Ye woni da sene. Bye bye.